Are we good to start? I'd like to call the November 23rd School Board Action Meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Anderson. Here. Mr. Caligiuri.
Here.
Mr. Colson.
Here.
Mr. Devine.
Here.
Mr. Hill.
Here.
Mr. Kolar. Mrs. Stepnick. Here. Mr. Tomarello. Ms. Wetmore. Here. Student Representative Ms. Dratcho.
Here.
Thank you. The board met in executive session on November 18th, 2021 and November 23rd, 2021 to discuss matters of litigation, safety, personnel, and real estate. I'd like to recommend the approval to resolve and accept the following minutes as listed below.
Make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. At this time, we have recognitions. Dr. Scholler, I think you're up first.
Good evening, members of the school board. Can you hear me? Yeah. Oh. There we go. Now we're green. Green means go. Good evening, members of the school board and community. We want to thank you for allowing us to be here this evening to take a few minutes to recognize a much deserved recognition for an initiative that has taken place at Holiday Park over the years. In an effort to support and uphold a culture of literacy, it is a pleasure to introduce and recognize Holiday Park Elementary School's building-wide reading initiative entitled Holiday Park Reading League. The acronym is HPRL. Daily, the HPRL initiative provides all students with an opportunity to become extrinsically motivated to read more and intrinsically motivated to build upon the reading pillars of comprehension, fluency, and vocabulary. A recent 2020 National Reading Panel report on the 5 pillars of reading emphasized that encouraging students to engage in a wide, independent reading program helps to increase reading achievement. HPRL aligns with our district's strategic goal of increasing academic achievement and rigor. To provide a brief overview of this initiative at Holiday Park, tonight we have MTSS teachers Mrs. Hartley and Ms. Wickersty, of whom helped facilitate the HPRL process. Additionally, we have several Holiday Park Elementary students who have significantly achieved HPRL benchmarks with their independent reading up to this point of the school year. And I would ask at this time that any student that is here from Holiday Park for the Reading League recognition, if you would also come forward at this time.
And for our parents that want to take photos through the recognitions, you can come in this horseshoe, get better photos.
Students, if you want to stand right over here. Yep. Absolutely. So we'll let Ms. Wickersty and Mrs. Hartley talk to you briefly about the initiative.
Good evening, and thank you for having us tonight. We are Jackie Hartley and Kelly Wickersty, the Reading Intervention teachers at Holiday Park Elementary. At Holiday Park, we strive to create a community of readers who celebrate each other's successes. The Holiday Park Reading League started back in 2016 as a way to get the students excited about reading.
Students are encouraged to choose books at their level that interest them. After reading, they take a short comprehension quiz through the Accelerated Reader program and earn points towards their goal. This year, we kicked off the year with a football competition as classrooms competed down the field when they earned AR points. Our second 9 weeks hockey theme is underway, and our students have actually already met their goal of over 2,000 AR points school-wide for this second 9 weeks. To keep things exciting, we have a March Madness competition planned, as well as a spring baseball theme to finish off the year. Tonight, we would like to recognize the first HPRL 100 Point Club inductees for the 2021-2022 school year. These students have gone above and beyond with their independent reading and are outstanding role models for their peers. Congratulations to the following students on your hard work and achievement. And these are the inductees up until October 15th. At this point, we actually have 19 members of the 100 Point Club. Congratulations to the following students.
Vincent Tutullo. Avery Pfeiffer. Cecilia Roston. And Natalie Nutter. We also have Austin Lau, who's not in attendance tonight, along with Parker McCoy and Ethan Wagner. We'd also like to congratulate Natalie Nutter on being the first Hall of Fame reader that is going to be inducted this year. That she has earned over 300 AR points already this year. So congratulations to all these amazing reader leaders, and we wish you all success.
Thank you for coming.
Mr. Fischel?
Yes, sir. Tonight, good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the school board. I'm Mr. Fischel. I'm the building principal here at the high school. Tonight, we would like to commend Mr. Rudra Thakar for being a National Merit semifinalist, placing him in the top 1% of all high school students. His hard work and dedication to his education and community is unmatched. Rudra is an exceptional student, and it is no surprise at all that he is a National Merit semifinalist recipient. Rudra has always demonstrated outstanding academic qualities from elementary school and after. He is a very insightful young man who continually demonstrates his intellectual inquisitiveness. Rudra is a very active participant in enrichment opportunities offered through the GATE, computer science, and science programs here at Plum Senior High School. He is a National Science Olympiad, a CalcuSolve medal winner, a robotics competitor, Data Jam leader, and a Design to Make a Difference team member, among multiple other accomplishments. We'd like to wish him all the best in his future endeavors. Mr. Rudra Thakar. There you are. And would you mind telling the board what your plans are for the future?
So I've applied to Carnegie Mellon University, and I hope to go there next year for computer engineering.
Hi, good evening. I'm Tamar McPherson. I teach computer science up here at the high school. I'm also the department leader for computer science, BCIT, and STEM. I am here to congratulate Alex George on her performance on the AP Computer Science A exam this past May. College Board recognizes her effort as so superior that it falls into a select category of students. The AP exams are scored on a 1 to 5 scale, and she not only received a score of 5 on the exam, but she earned every single point possible on the exam. So she was one of 356 students in the world to achieve this on this computer science exam. And just to give you a sense of how many, there were almost 64,000 students across the world who took the AP CSA exam. So she is in the top 0.5% of students on this exam. College Board likes to, the letter that they sent wanted to congratulate the teacher who did that, and so I'm only going to take about 10% of the credit for that. I showed up, I did my job. It was Alex who really shined last year, especially with all the challenges with the pandemic and everything, and she deserves all the credit. So,
I'm planning on studying mechanical engineering in college. I'm applying to Cornell, so hopefully there, but we'll see.
Tonight, we would like to commend Miss Mara Marston for getting a perfect 800 score on her math SAT test. Mara has been accelerated in math since elementary school. In fact, Mara's level of mathematical ability inspired future pathways for our exceptional math students. Mara has excelled through her career by taking AP Calc BC, AP Stats, and dual enrollment at CCAC for linear algebra. On top of these high-level courses, she also participates in many math-based enrichment opportunities such as CalcuSolve, Data Jam Equations, Science Olympiad, and the Science Bowl. We are so proud of Mara, not only for a perfect math score, but all she has accomplished. Mara, congratulations. Please step up to the mic, tell us everybody where you're going.
Hi. I plan to go to college and major in something related to math and medicine. Congrats, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Shoup.
We'll have Coach Stewart with girls soccer also.
Yeah, Coach Stewart, I'm going to have him present. We have some outstanding student athletes here tonight and outstanding coaches, and it's really an honor for me to just even be here with them. So I'm going to let Coach Stewart take care of soccer here.
All right, thanks, Mr. Shoup. Good evening, I'm Jamie Stewart, I'm the girls soccer coach. First, I want to thank everybody for recognizing the girls soccer team for their season this year. It was a record-setting season for the girls. They went 21-3-1, including a trip to the Whitfield final. Unfortunately, we did not win that one. Additionally, the girls competed in the PIAA state playoffs, winning their first 2 state playoff games in history of the program before bowing out in the semifinals. I want to recognize the entire team for working very hard from August all the way until last week on this record-setting season. And so I want to introduce and thank members of the team who are with us tonight. So if you girls could come up, please. First up, we have Annabelle Arn. She's a junior. Julia Gilday is a senior with our team. Marissa Liberto is a senior and also a captain. And Tori Ruggiero is a senior and a captain as well. So I do want to recognize the following players on the team, some who are here and some who are not, who were selected as all WIPIAL and all section players. Marissa Liberto, Caitlin Killinger, and Kaylee Simcu. I also want to recognize the following players who were selected as all-section players: Emma Benetham and Annabelle Aron. In addition, I do want to recognize those seniors who were not able to be with us tonight: Emma Benetham, Mara Apina, Jade Tall, and Bailey Walker. The girls had an outstanding season, one that was full of excitement as a coach, as to watch them as they competed on the field throughout the season and the playoffs. And I want to thank you all for recognizing their athletic excellence, as well as your support through the year. But more importantly, I want to thank the girls for all the work that they put in this year.
Just talk about your plans for the future.
I will be continuing to play soccer at Point Park University and studying forensic science. I am going to IUP and going to major in special education.
I am playing soccer at Edinburgh University and I am studying business.
Thank you, Coach Stewart. So once again, good evening, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to recognize all of these tremendous student athletes, coaches, and teams. I think one of the greatest things as an athletic director is when you see groups of teams and groups of individuals giving up individual goals to achieve team goals, and I think that that's what we have here tonight, and I'm very proud, athletic director, to be representing these young men and women. So Coach Bonk and Coach Satira from the girls volleyball team were not able to be here tonight, so I'm going to read what she had written for me. So girls volleyball players, you want to come on up here with me? So the Plum girls volleyball team finished the regular season this year with a 15-2 overall record, and the team was 12-2 in section play. That was the regular season. They were section champs for the second year in a row. After upsetting Thomas Jefferson, who I believe was the number 2 seed in the tournament, in the WPL quarterfinals, the volleyball team qualified for the PIAA playoffs for the first time since the late 80s, and this is according to Mike Love from the Trib, so I don't know if I got to make sure that that's accurate. And the girls volleyball team through the playoff run finished with a 17-4 overall record, and the following students received these honors for their performance this season. Section All-Stars, first team, Caroline Hunter. Also first team, Danica Susko, Jr. First team, Grace Thompson, Senior. On the second team, Emily Bologna, Jr. Maya Nonnenberg, Jr. And the third team for all section was Sam Glatz, a junior. And we had 2 young ladies reach the WPL All-Star team. The first team, Danica Susko, and the third team, Grace Thompson. Like I told Coach Stewart, he's always thanking me, but I really want to thank you guys. It was an awesome year. I really enjoyed watching you play. Any of you girls want to come up here and tell the board of your future plans? Seniors, please.
The seniors, also Julia Chapka.
Oh, I'm sorry, the whole list, okay. Okay, this list. Julia Chapka, senior, sorry. Ty Johnston, senior. Marissa's not here. Jenna Narda, is Jenna here? Yeah. Jenna's here. Okay. You're up, girls.
Yeah, seniors, tell us what your plans are.
Okay. I hope to attend the University of Pittsburgh with my major undecided as of right now. I plan to go to an HBCU by the name of Hampton University to major in biology to hopefully go to medical school to become a surgeon. I hope to attend college to study in physical therapy.
I hope to attend college, and my major is undecided, but I hope to play volleyball.
I plan to attend college to study forensic psychology.
Thank you. And next up, we have the boys soccer team, head coach Rafael Kolonkowski. So Coach Kolonkowski was selected as the Class AAA Section 4 Coach of the Year, so I'm going to present you with this one, and then we can let you talk about your players.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Highland, the school board, principal official, and our athletic director, Josh Shoup. You're a great athletic director to work with, so thank you very much. I'd like to also congratulate girls volleyball for a fantastic season, winning the sections again. I think that's 2 years in a row. Thank the girls soccer team. They won sections, I believe, 3 years in a row. They're just breaking records after records, so it's good to see, and I'd like to say thank you to those two teams. I might as well throw football in there. They made playoffs even though they had a very, very young team, and because of a small glitch, they took an extra loss when they didn't have to. So Matt Morgan did a fantastic job, and congratulations to football also. Unfortunately, most of my players couldn't show up. 6 of the 8 seniors had practice today. 6 of them play on a very competitive team, and they got a tournament in Florida coming up. And because of Thanksgiving, the practice got moved to today. I'm here, but they had to be at practice. But my 8 seniors, Luke Kolonkowski, Dylan Akut, Michael Waleski, Kyle Ryan, Ian Urick, Matt Diss, Zach Fulton, Austin Harita. Awesome. Awesome with the capital A. They did a great job this year, not only representing their families, but the school district and the Plum community on and off the field. It was just a joy to coach them this year. Congrats, guys. We had a great season this year, 17-4-1. The last 2 out of 3 years we made the semis. So it was just a tremendous season this year. I know with the seniors' 3-year record last 3 years, 46, 7, and 3. So we got a bunch of winners on our side, and unfortunately they'll be graduating. To recognize some of the players, let's just start with Kyle Ryan. He's a 3rd-year starter. He made honorable mention this year, so congrats to Ryan, Kyle Ryan. We have Dylan Akut. He's a 3-year starter. He made all section, all WIPIO, and just like Kyle, he was a captain for us. Congratulations. Michael Waleski, he was a 4-year starter. Again, made all section, all WIPIO, and he was a 2-year captain for us this year. Congratulations. Lucas Pittman, he's a junior. He made all section, and also he made all WIPIO. Congratulations to Lucas. Luke Kolonkowski, he's a 4-year starter, 3-year all section, 2-year all WIPIO. He made all state this year, and he was also a captain. Congrats to Luke. I believe 6 out of the 8 seniors are going to go to, obviously they're all going to go to college, but 6 of them will try to continue and play soccer on the next level, which I think they will do very well. Unlike maybe football and basketball, when it comes to soccer, because of different rules, their recruiting kind of starts after your season. So hopefully the next couple months they will have their decision of where they're going. But again, other than that, I also like to thank my assistant coaches, Greg Pittman, Sean Gilday, and Rick Neese. I can't do this on my own, so it's good to have the support of 3 other guys. And again, thank you, Josh, for being support for me. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for the momentary pause. We just wanted to wait until the crowd dissipated and we had a little bit more ability to hear what was going to happen next. We do have 3 board members who will be finishing their term on November 30th. So we would like to recognize them as this will be their last meeting with us. So we have Mr. Scott Colson. He served the board from 2017 to 2021. Thank you very much, Mr. Colson, for your service. Mr. Kolar is not able to be here with us this evening. He also has served the last 4 years and will be ending his term on the 30th. Mr. Tomarello is joining us remotely. Mr. Tomarello, we have a plaque for you that we will make sure gets into your hands. He has done 2 separate terms for Plumboro School District, ending this current term. This 2-year term that he filled was 2019 to 2021. Mr. Tomarello, thank you for your service.
Thank you all. All right, moving on to the President's report. In my last report as President, I want to start off by thanking the rest of the board for having the faith and trust in me to lead this board for the past 2 years. This was not a task I took lightly, and I hope that I have at a minimum met, if not exceeded, your expectations. As I transition to a board member at large, I will bring with me the same work ethic, enthusiasm, and determination to continue to move this district forward. I cannot begin to thank you enough for giving me this opportunity. The board attended their first coffee with the cabinet and board meeting last Thursday. We had 3 parents show up and had very productive conversations. The parents brought their concerns on many items and ideas for potential solutions. Our administration is taking these back and reviewing for feasibility in the future. Our next meeting will be held in January. As is starting to become tradition, our fall sports teams have all finished up their respective seasons with great success. Dr. Anderson will be addressing each individual team in her report, and I just want to thank you all for your hard work, both in the classroom and on the field. Congratulations on fantastic seasons and good luck to all of our seniors. With winter sports now beginning, I want to wish you all luck on successful seasons, and I look forward to watching. Not to be forgotten, I want to commend the students who video and stream all of our games. I'm not able to attend all in person, but I do watch online, and they do an excellent job. I'm excited to announce that tonight we will be voting on a plan to move forward with COVID and our district protocols. It has been a long journey, and normalcy is finally in sight. From the beginning, Plum has been aggressive when given the opportunity. However, we have never put our children or staff in danger. With introduction of the vaccine for all students in grades K through 12, we will vote tonight to amend our health and safety plan to move forward with this development. If passed, and I have high expectations that this plan will pass, several changes will be made. First, masks will become optional for all students and vaccinated staff at all of our buildings. Seating in the cafeteria will go back to normal, and lunchtime will again become a time of release and socialization for our students. We will gradually allow visitors back into our buildings with the goal of having more individuals, such as homeroom parents, to facilitate better celebrations in our classrooms for our students. Field trips and out-of-state trips will be reintroduced back to our district. Contact tracing will slowly but surely be moved back to the county, as we've assisted them for the past almost 2 years. And lastly, flex will be coming to an end. If passed tonight, a letter will be sent to parents later tonight explaining everything in more detail. Everything I've just mentioned will be in effect not before January 11th, 2022, but also in relation to the official date of the mask mandate being lifted by the state. This time period will also give parents more than 2 full months to have their children considered fully vaccinated. If the mask mandate ends prior to January 11th, we will revert back to our initially passed health and safety plan, and as of 9:30 this morning, this would put the junior high and high school back with masking being optional, and the kids at Center, Pivot, and Holiday Park will be required for 5 more short weeks unless the positivity rate drops. We sincerely thank you for the cooperation and patience you have all exuded over the past 21 months. Mr. Kolar, Mr. Colson, and Mr. Tomarello, it is bittersweet that your time is coming to an end. You have all been exceptional board members, and it has been an honor and pleasure to serve beside you for the past 2 years. Mr. Kolar and Mr. Colson, you were both faced with monumentally difficult decisions in your years before we joined the board. Those decisions started this district in the right direction, and although they did not make any decisions we faced any easier, it laid the groundwork for us to come in and keep this district moving in the right direction. Mr. Kolar, I was never shy about giving you a hard time, but I want you to know from day one you had my respect. We may have differed on the direction to get to an end goal, but our end goals were always the same. You have truly been a fine board member, and I am hopeful you look back on your time served favorably and know you left this district in better shape than how you found it. I hope you enjoy retirement and time with your family. Mr. Colson, you have served with one goal in mind, and that is what is best for our students and our community. As board president before me, you could have easily told me to figure it out for myself, but thankfully you did not. You answered every phone call, text, and email, and I promise you there were a lot. I sent asking for not only your input, but your advice. You have a quiet confidence that you bring to the table. You may be the only board member that does not say much, but when you do speak, everyone stops and listens and truly takes to heart what you have to say, because more often than not, it is the right direction and your words are factual and inspirational. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you simply for being you. Thanks, Mike. Mr. Tomarello, I came into this adventure not looking to make friends, but to help this district move forward. Through it all, as you leave this board, I am confident the friendship we have built does not end today. It took time to gain a mutual trust of each other, but once we had that, the conversations we had were ones we knew we did not need to hold back on. We were able to communicate openly and honestly, knowing we would listen to what the other had to say, and at the end of the conversation, the relationship would not be strained. Thank you all again for your time served. I wish you all the best. All right, moving on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Highland.
Good evening, everyone. I apologize for not being there. I am a little under the weather, and I didn't want to get anybody else sick. So again, I apologize for not being there in present to see those youngsters, those young student athletes, and those students who are the best of what Plum has to offer. I wish I could have been there. My report tonight is going to focus primarily on the 3 board members who are departing. Being a board member is a thankless job, and it would behoove us all to thank a board member when you get an opportunity to do so. And so tonight I want to make sure that my report focuses on those 3 board members who are leaving. First, because I have served with them the longest, I would like to start by thanking both Major Kolar and Mr. Colson for taking the lead and showing confidence in my ability by bringing me on as an untested superintendent who is coming into a district that was, to say the least, in a desperate need of improvement. I will always be grateful that you saw something in me and my team that we could make a difference here. You both helped to create an atmosphere for 4 very good years that allowed us to set goals, come up with a plan, and a team to reach those goals, and then hold us accountable to make sure that the students and the community were well served. The best leaders don't micromanage. They trust their people to get the job done and provide the level of support when necessary, and hold them accountable in moments when they need to be. Both of you, in your unique ways, found ways to drive the board towards doing what you believed was right for the district, but most importantly, for the kids. The true test of being a board member, in my mind, is, did you leave the district in a better place than when you found it? And without question, you can leave with your head held high that you did that by a very wide margin, and you will be extremely hard to replace. Some personal notes on each person. First, for Major Kolar. Major Kolar is the type of individual who just gets the job done efficiently, done on time, and most importantly, always done above expectations. As an example, he was responsible for personnel matters for a time as a board member. We worked together on several contract negotiations with several bargaining groups. He would always want us to find a way to reward good work from our employees. During his time in the position, he managed to complete what could have been a very difficult contract with a few bargaining groups. The negotiations could have been contentious, but he made sure that the groups felt included and empowered. Quite simply, we would not have gotten many of the contracts done without his leadership. Major Kohler is the type of person that tells you like it is, whether you want to hear it or not. He's an old school straight shooter, and that is a quality that unfortunately is not embraced by more people. Most importantly, Scott would get things done for all the right reasons. I always knew you could rely on Scott's word when he gave it, and that is one of the highest compliments you can give an individual. The bottom line with Scott was that he knew his stuff and had the ability to be a deep reservoir of both local school district knowledge and best practices that were learned as an officer in the Air Force and as a teacher. Scott has many business interests that he is engaged in now, that he has left public education, and if he is half as successful at those as he was as a school board member and an educator, the businesses will be booming in no time. Best of luck to Scott, to Janet, and the rest of their family in the next stage of their lives. Scott Colson will be missed on this board and by this administrative team. He was extremely supportive, knowledgeable, and had an uncanny ability to make you feel proud about the work that you were doing for the kids. Out of nowhere, you would get a text that read, "Hey, thanks for the hard work that you put into this, and it will be a good thing for the district." He had a way of validating work and also caused our team to do all we could not to disappoint him. For those of you who are old enough to remember the TV commercial with E.F. Hutton, the commercial went, "When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen." I can tell you the same thing is true about Scott Colson. Scott oftentimes would not say a thing during a heated discussion. He took the road that is often less traveled. He wanted to listen and he wanted to learn. But when he did speak, I can promise you, we all listened because we knew we would get good advice and counsel. What I enjoyed the most about Scott was that he was confident enough in who he was that he didn't need to hear himself speak or brag that he knew something that others did not. Scott, thanks for always being a good guy and somebody who just wanted to make this district the best place that it could be.
Thanks, Brandon.
Finally, Joe Tomarello. I've had the opportunity to work with Mr. Tomarello for a much shorter period of time than the other board members. Joe was an important part of the budget and safety work that was done in the district during his 2-year term while I was superintendent. Joe dedicated his time and energy to try and make the Plumboro School District the best he could in his eyes. Joe holds the distinction of being the youngest individual to ever serve on the school board here in Plum. There is a nobility in serving, and it is even more impressive when that service comes at a young age. I know Joe has been dealing with some personal circumstances, which makes his service even more laudable. I am pretty sure Joe will throw his hat back in the ring sometime in the future, so he can try and make the lives of our students the best that he can. Joe, I wish you all the best in your future endeavors, your upcoming nuptials, and wherever life takes you. And that ends my report.
All right, student representatives report.
All right, so it was only whenever I was working on this the past couple of days that I realized how much is actually going on in the school for the past month and a half, so get ready for a little bit of a lengthy sum of events. So first and foremost, our homecoming dance was held on October 16th, and it was a huge success and Plum's first ever outdoor dance. And a survey went out to all the students, and everyone was really pleased with the activity. Overall, it was a great dance planned by Mr. McFeely and Ms. Smith, and Mara Marston, who you saw come up here earlier, was voted our 2021 homecoming queen this year. Our annual Powder Puff game also took place on October 8th, with the seniors winning with a score of 26-7. It was a huge turnout with just over 400 people in attendance, and a total of $6,131.46 was raised for the following charities: so Make-A-Wish, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and Core Response for Hurricane Ida victims. Plum student government and NHS did a great job planning and executing the event. I should know I was there. We had an amazing Veterans Day ceremony presented by Plum's ROTC. The event was live streamed by television production department to classrooms in the high school, O Block, and Holiday Park, so it's kind of like all in one swoop. We also had the Rachel's Challenge Assembly along with the weekly challenges that have been posted each week. It's been eye-opening for so many students. You can accomplish a lot with just a little bit of kindness. That's what my mom and dad have always told me. And so it's very heartwarming to see all of these PHS students going out of their way to fulfill these tasks of kindness. Updates specifically in regards to the National Honor Society, because we have a lot going on in the future and recent events. We had our Make-A-Wish dinner held on November 10th, which brought in about $3,000 that we plan to put toward donations for the Make-A-Wish during the telethon at the end of December. The dinner consisted of NHS students and their family in a silent auction. Baskets were donated by various businesses throughout the area, and families had the chance to bet for whichever one they desired most. Spirit Nights will be held at the Panera in Oakmont on December 1st and Anthony's Coal-Fired Pizza on December 6th. You can go to the restaurants those days and use the QR codes to send a portion of your payment to benefit Plum's donations to Make-A-Wish. And the annual semi-formal dance will be held on December 3rd in the high school main gym from 7 to 10 p.m. Tickets will go on sale during all lunch periods from November 29th to December 2nd. The fall play was also held on November 18th and 19th. The performance consisted of James and the Giant Peach and A Midsummer Night's Dream, with about 154 people in attendance both nights. Our 21st annual Make-A-Wish Telethon will be held on December 23rd. Preparations are in full swing. I think Mr. Brock's having panic attacks already about planning everything, because we are trying to reach the $1 million mark for the total amount we've ever donated to Make-A-Wish. At the beginning of the year, we were $40,000 away from this goal, and so proceeds from each NHS event, starting from the beginning of the year to then, will go toward that, as well as a portion of Powder Puff donations. And then in the meantime, production team is working on their script and guest list. And then in regards to the GATE program at the school, we've had Wordmaster, which took place on November 16th at Franklin Regional High School. Plum placed first overall with Alex George, who you saw earlier. She was our first place individual, and Rujo Tucker was the third place individual. We also had the Creative Convention, which was held on November 22nd, which Plum took first and third place during. Addison Sofran, Ryan Cummings, and Ellie Tondrel filmed Hometown High Q with KDKA last week. The air date is not yet available, but I'm sure they did great. And the debate competition along with CalcuSolve will be held in the upcoming weeks. I was going to update about sports, but I heard that Dr. Anderson is going to go through it, plus we had all the people come up, so I'll leave you to that. And then just another little extra thing is that our 7th annual Toys for Tots toy drive will be taking place on Wednesday, December 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. in the high school bus lot.
Thank you very much. All right, at this time, I'd like to open the floor to citizens' comments on agenda items.
If anybody in the audience would like to make a comment on agenda items, we ask you to step to the podium, state your name, your residency within Plum, and then you will have 5 minutes to speak. Please address your statements directly to the presiding officer of the board so that they may hear your comments rather than questioning individual board members. I will give you a 30-second warning when your time is coming to a close. I will also have a timer up on the board, so you will be able to monitor your own time. Whenever you are finished speaking, we ask that you just step over to the clipboard here at the end of the table and put your name down so that I spell it correctly in the minutes. Does anybody want to speak at this time? All right. Mr. Devine, back to you.
Thank you.
I forget the instructions. I'm Stephanie Bartow. I'm at 105 Nassau Drive. Is that all I needed to? Okay. So I think what I would like to do is just step up and express how disappointed I am in the board. I took my kids out of the district completely last year because I had little faith in how things would be handled. They're back in the district this year. I've taken the approach that I'm going to listen to learn, to see what's happening before I form my opinions. I've been watching social media interactions, and I think they're disgusting. The way that you've you've portrayed yourself, it's made me not want to engage in you and share my thoughts and opinions. And I don't believe for a second that I'm the only person. So when you make your decisions tonight and think that you're representing the public, I think that would be a false assumption, because you're shutting down communications when you blatantly call people names on social media and tell them that we don't need that, it's not going to change anything. I think, as you said, you could accomplish a lot with a little bit of kindness. And if you would consider how you're showing up and presenting, I think you would have a much more robust discussion, and we could accomplish a lot. So for that matter, I do have concerns about the things that are on the agenda tonight. The PCR testing is going to lose its emergency use authorization as of December 31st. It's going to be void, so I don't see why have it. The vaccination clinic wasn't even on the last agenda, so our public didn't even know to come and share with you. And the updated health safety plan, again, another thing nobody knows about without actually showing up tonight. If the intent, as I understood it, was to remove masks to keep unvaccinated students masked, I would consider where your liability stands in that. It's not going to end with just as a school, as a district, but personal liability with the consequences of having some people vaxxed and other people are unmasked. And for that matter, it's a silly thing anyhow, because it's well documented that the breakthrough cases, despite vaccination, still happen. So if masks work, then unmasking vaccinated people who can still get sick and still transmit doesn't even make sense at all. If you want the data on that, I will happily start sharing it with you. That is all.
Ms. Barth, I'd like to clarify one thing. For the, if the plan passes the way it's presented tonight, it will not determine between vaccinated and unvaccinated. All students will take masks off.
Perfect. I super appreciate that. But again, literally nobody knows it. Nobody knows it unless you're here. Nobody knows it.
Any other comments at this time?
My name's Ron Tukolsky. I live at 625 Surfside Drive. I'm concerned that the board is making decisions tonight on the vaccines and the clinics that will have a major impact on the new board. I believe that I was elected to make well-informed and transparent decisions for the Plum community in the best interest of the students, K through 12, and the parents. I'm asking this board to please table the clinics and vaccines so that the new board members have a chance to disseminate the data, discuss it with the board, and make a transparent decision for the constituents of Plum. The departing members should abstain or vote no, so not to make a decision that affects the liability of the board they are leaving and representing. I ask you to please consider tabling at this time. Thank you for the opportunity, and I hope to be working with you. Well, I know I'll be working with you in a couple weeks.
Hi, I'm Megan Trudowitz. I live at 604 Anderson Avenue. If there is any way that we can be liable for this, I urge you to please table this until we're able to vote. I certainly do not want to become liable. So, again, I really wish there would be some more information that we can process before we make such a vote. Thank you.
Before we let the next speaker come up, Mr. Dice, can you speak to the legalities of clinics and things along those lines and how they fall into place, just so we have a broad understanding for everybody that's here in attendance tonight?
Sure. So we have run this by the district's insurance carrier. They have confirmed that there is coverage. The company putting on the clinic has provided insurance documentation the same way anyone else using district space would have to provide insurance documentation that lists the district as an additional insured. And on top of that, a school district, as we've all seen on this board, can be sued for anything at any time. The one area I really want to make sure we're clear on, though, is there is nothing here that would expose an individual school director to personal liability. Could someone try and sue the school district? Sure. We've seen our own fair share of frivolous lawsuits. But there is no way, I see absolutely no way, that there would be any personal liability on any school director as an individual.
Are there any other comments at this time on agenda items?
Good evening. My name is Keith Coltura. I'm at 4815 Hialeah Drive. And I'll be brief. I'm just here in opposition of the vaccine clinic. I think there are many other viable options for individuals to seek vaccines if they want them. And I don't think it's a place of the school to get involved with that. I just feel like I've been a person who has not been as involved, but people like myself are starting to become involved because where do we draw the line? And I'll leave it at that.
My name is Christina Haas. I live at 3420 Leechburg Road. I would like some clarification in regards to masked and unmasked, vaccinated versus unvaccinated kids, because I might have misheard you, Mike, in the beginning when you were saying something that it is going to be the vaccinated children that will be unmasked. Okay, so everybody across the board is going to be unmasked.
Yeah, if you'd like, I can read that portion of that report again.
Sure, I would like that.
I'm just going to skip to that part of I'm not going to go through the whole paragraph, but all right, if passed, several changes will be made. First, masks will become optional for all students and vaccinated staff. That might be where the confusion was. It's vaccinated staff.
Okay, all right.
All right, at all of our buildings. Seating in the cafeteria will go back to normal. Lunchtime will now again become a time of release and socialization for our students. We will gradually allow visitors back into our buildings with the goal of having more individuals, such as homeroom parents, to facilitate better celebrations in our classrooms for our students. Field trips and out-of-state trips will be reintroduced back to our district. Contact tracing will slowly but surely be moved back to the county as we've assisted them for the past almost 2 years. And lastly, flex will be coming to an end. You'll see in the plan that at the end of the third 9 weeks, it'll be over.
Okay, thank you. The other thing is in regards to having a vaccine clinic and having people coming into the school. It's kind of odd that we, at this point in time, we're having a vaccine clinic or voting on a vaccine clinic where people would come in, but that we can't have parties here until January. It's kind of weird that we're allowing people to come in that aren't part of the district, but we're not able to have one parent come in to help with a party. Kind of not right. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Mr. Devine, could you clarify some of those comments so parents maybe understand a little bit more on parent interaction and whatnot?
Yeah, so regardless of the date of the mask mandate ending, the intention, if this plan passes tonight, with the upcoming, I guess we call it holiday party, parents, at a minimum, the homeroom parents, probably, I would assume, 1 or 2 parents per room will be allowed back into the classroom at the younger grades to facilitate the parties. Is that what you were asking for, Ms. Stepnick?
Yes, I mean, I know we've had a lot of dialogue, and Dr. Allen has indulged last couple months, but that is one thing. I know that seemed to be a bit of confusion on the last comments and questions, so I think that's important to clarify.
Yeah, and there's going to be a communication going out tonight with the assumption this passes, which will detail everything in greater detail. I would assume that you'll probably see that before you go to bed tonight.
Are there any other public comments at this time?
Justin Jehovic, 20 Leon Court. So just another clarification, is there any instance where there would be any type of masking of unvaccinated children? Is that a commitment that the current board members would, okay, so there's nothing you guys see for that, okay, I see head shaking no, okay, I see at least 3.
Mr. Devine? Yeah, Mr. Devine, can we clarify too, to be clear that we are going to follow the mandate. If the mandate is upheld, this all starts at the end of the mandate, January 17th. If the mandate as it stands now ends December 3rd, we will refer back to our original plan from the beginning of this year, and for the elementary age kids under the current rates of positivity will be masked until January 11th, which is the end of the second grading period. Okay? Because I don't want anybody to leave thinking they can send their kids to school without a mask.
Mandate, if another mandate comes down in regards to vaccination, requiring unvaccinated children to be masked from the state, would this board reject that or follow it because of statute?
We have to follow what the statute says first. If the statute is removed, that's where we have set up, and that's the communication that will go out tonight. We'll say what that will look like.
3 minutes, thank you.
Yep.
So in regards to that, using that same logic, it would be, so Mr. Solicitor, Mr. Dice, sorry, rather. That's good. It's on your card, so that's good, I can still say that. If you can't see anything that would cause any legality issues or liability, because I am concerned, like I've expressed before, I've expressed sincerity of transparency and communication, I've shared emails and conversations and sidebars. So we're in a new realm. I think we all can admit that. And Mr. Devine, you had said we try to come out of it for those things. So there are many liability notices that in regards to having vaccination clinics and testing on site that may be served. And some of them are, at least from my opinion, are not nice. Now, American Frontline Doctors has one that's very nice. It's a very cordial conversation betwixt the district and the individual, the parent. So that would be okay, but that does serve some notice of liability at the individual level. So I would echo some of the other statements that I think that unless you've already done the vetting and due diligence of those documents that could be coming your way as a district for liability, as a board for liability, as administration for liability, and as individuals for liability, you can't say it's vetted, and you might be at risk. And that's a concern that I would have for you guys and the district. Because like you noted, this district has been through those things in the past. We do not want to go back there, from a cost perspective for the district. I think we all agree for that. Many of you were elected on that, to not go back to those times when we had those things. So I think that there's been a referendum for sure to continue with a change and maybe the way things have been done in the past and the way things should be done in the future. So I would just offer that if you haven't considered those potential, there's legality potential out there. And if you're not aware of that, the think might not be operative to cover risk. So then we may be incurring risk as a district and maybe even risk as individuals. And so I would just offer pause that you guys consider that. Because as individuals, at least my understanding from the Sunshine Act that we've talked about many times is that carries individual liability also, not board liability. Like individual fines, individual things, judges have said training, things like that. So I just would offer that you guys should consider that as a group for not only the borough and the district, but for yourselves. I just offer that as a pause. I think that would be something you guys should talk about before voting.
Sir, if you want, so we're going to not engage in a discussion tonight, but if you want to stay around after the meeting, I'll give you my phone number. If you want to have a conversation tomorrow, we can set something up.
Sure. Or I can email you too, that's depending upon time. Thank you.
Are there any other comments at this time?
My name's Daylin Sullivan. I live at 3426 Leechburg Road. And I don't understand why you would even think about having a vaccination clinic at the schools. To me, you're just throwing that at everybody saying, you have to get vaccinated. That's what we want from you. There's so many places that you can go to get it without throwing it in our schools. Everybody has been throwing it at our kids for about the last 2 years, and it's ridiculous. Like, I do not understand why you keep pushing this matter. Let people take their kids somewhere if that's what they feel is best. Take the masks off our kids. Because if these masks have been working, what has been the problem? It's been almost 2 years. We've been in them for how long? Everybody should be healthy as can be. But that's right. The masks kill your immune system, so why do kids get sick now? And this is the only place they have to wear them. Anywhere else you go, you don't have to wear a mask. And just for clarification also, are the kids still being forced to wear a mask during gym class at school? Okay. Just curious because I keep hearing different things, that sometimes they are and sometimes they're not, and they're not supposed to be, but then they're made to wear a mask, so. You guys don't listen anyways.
Any other comments at this time? Mr. Devine, I turn it back to you.
Thank you. Personnel, Mr. Caligiuri, Lead Board Liaison, recommend approval to resolve and accept the following 1 to 5 as listed.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Mr. Caligiuri, anything to report tonight?
Yes, Mr. Devine. First of all, let me just express my extreme gratitude to Mr. Kohler, Mr. Tomarello, Mr. Colson for their service and companionship and collegialism. They've been extraordinarily professional. They're excellent communicators and have engaged in some really meaningful discussion and moved this district forward, both while I've been here and before I've been here. I'd like to personally thank Mr. Colson, who was more than welcoming even before I was sworn in as a board member, and someone that I see as a mentor. He's been really open and honest with me. He's reached out to me when we've had some really challenging times, or me personally, and I appreciate that. So I want to recognize that in front of the community, so thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
This evening, the Board of Directors approved our 6th and final collective bargaining unit contract with the Transportation Department. This marks 2 years of ongoing discussions to complete these most important tasks. We want to acknowledge and thank our employees for their efforts and willingness to work together on contracts that benefit students first and foremost. These contracts accomplish 2 goals that were outlined by the Board of Directors. First, that our employees are paid fair and marketable wages and receive the fullest benefits available to ensure that they can truly care for themselves and their families. Second, these contracts allow the school district to match our employees and assign them to the areas where children's needs can best be met. It certainly took quite a bit of give and take on everyone's part. In the end, the students were the focus for every group. Thank you to all of our employees and certainly our administration for your hard work and dedication to making the Plumboro School District the best that it can be, and a willingness to never settle for status quo. We're really looking forward to a great future together. So again, thank you all.
Thank you. Student Achievement and Activities, Dr. Anderson, Lead Board Liaison, recommend approval to resolve and accept the following 1 and 2 as listed below.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Dr. Anderson, anything to report tonight?
I will not get emotional, but say serving with Scott and Scott and losing them after 4 years, we did a lot. And all of a sudden, as I was making coffee to come, I turned to my husband and said, I am now have the most seniority on the board. That's kind of really strange to me because it was a quick 4 years that we went through and a lot of positive things that have happened for the district. And I just appreciate that work wholeheartedly. And to Joe as well, appreciate that. I want to give an update on all of the fall sports. Girls tennis was 4-8 from an overall record. Golf ended 8-5 with an overall record and sent 2 individuals to the WPIAL Championship qualifiers. Football ended 3-9 overall, lost in the first round of playoffs to Hampton 14-13. But we had lost to Hampton in the regular season 35-7, so a much improvement. Boys soccer went 17-4-1 overall. They shared the section championship with Franklin Regional and then lost in the WPIAL semifinals to West Allegheny. Girls soccer we heard about tonight went 21-3-1 overall. They were section champs for the 3rd year in a row, lost to Mars for the 3rd year in a row in the WPIAL finals 2-1. And then in the PIAA playoffs, they beat Hollidaysburg 3-1 in the first round, Mechanicsburg 2-1 in the second round, and then lost in the to Mars again in the semifinals, only 1-0, and it was a tremendous game. The girls volleyball team 16-4 overall. They were section champs for the 2nd year in a row and shared that title with Franklin Regional as well. Lost in the WPIAL semis to Hampton, and then lost to Freeport in the first round of PIAA playoffs at Freeport. Cross country, the boys finished 4-4 in the section, and the girls finished 3-5 in the section. And lastly, slow pitch softball. They finished their regular season with an 8-6 record. The team was the 6th seed in the WPISL championships. They defeated Penn Trafford, Montour, and Shaler, and then lost to Bethel Park in the championship game. The team finished with an overall record of 11-7, and the team will graduate 15 seniors this year. So we had a tremendous fall season, and I'm looking forward to our winter season. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. All right, safe and supportive schools, Mr. Hill and Mr. Tomarello, lead board liaisons. Recommend approval to resolve and accept the following 1 to 5 as listed below.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstain?
Mr. Devine, I am going to abstain from that, just because I do think it's something that should be discussed by the new incoming board people.
So we have 1 abstain. I believe I heard 6 or 7 yeses. Motion passes. All right, Mr. Hill, Mr. Tomarello, anything to report tonight?
Again, want to thank Scott and Scott especially. I mean, I was out in the audience and I've had my fair share of giving you guys the old, citizens' comments. And but when I came on school board, you guys were all professional, welcoming to the school board, and I want to thank you guys for doing that. You didn't have to do that, but it shows the professionalism of you guys and the discussions that we had, and it just moves this district forward whenever we can have those discussions. So thank you for your respect, and you definitely earned my respect.
Thank you.
Mr. Tomarello, anything to add?
Just that it's been a pleasure working with Mr. Hill over these 2 years on the Safe and Support School Committee. He's put in a lot of hard work with Dr. Walsh together with us as a team, and I just want to say thank you to Adam for all of our work he's put into this. So thanks, Adam.
Yeah, Joe, you were a good teammate on there, and I appreciate you, the work that you came in there and allowing me to share that with you. So thank you.
All right, moving on, budget and finance, Mr. Tomarello, lead board liaison. Recommend approval to resolve and accept the following 1 to 6 as listed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I'm voting no because I won't vote for any contract with Kelly Services.
All right, any abstain? I am abstaining from specifically number 6, Exhibit B. Ms. Macro, everything else I'm a yes on. All right, motion passes. Mr. Tomarello, anything to report?
Yes, as this is my final report as a board member, I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to our entire administration, my fellow board members, our staff, and our entire community. I'm sorry I could not be there in person this evening as much as I wanted to be to say these goodbyes, but it's been an honor to serve my hometown of Plum for 6 years as a board member, and I must say this was one of the best boards I have had the privilege of working with. These past 2 years were hard on all of us as a district and on each of us personally. We will probably be known as the COVID board, but I am proud of the decisions I personally made throughout this pandemic and proud of how this district kept our students safe. And I believe we can all be proud to know we always did what we thought was best for our students and our community. I will truly miss serving alongside this board and our leaders, and I hope the next board will work just as hard, diligently, and apolitical as possible. Always remember these words, put Plum above politics. Thank you all again. It's truly been an honor serving with each of you. That's all I have for tonight, Mr. Devine.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Facilities and Operations, Mr. Colson, Lead Board Liaison. Recommend approval to resolve and accept the following 1 and 2 as listed below.
On behalf of the board, I will make that recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. For the final time, Mr. Colson, anything to report?
No report, just a thank you to everybody. I appreciate your kind words. It's been a real blast being on the board. So, just the only advice I have is just remember to listen to people, listen to the parents, listen to the faculty, listen to your administrators. I'm proud of the team that we put forward. I'm proud of the police department that we have. We've done a lot of difficult things, and listen to each other. Listen to everybody. Just try to make your best decisions of what's best for the school district. It's always what I've been trying to do. It's not easy. We know that. So that's about it. Finally, if I ever have to hear the word transparency again, it'll be too soon for sure. So, just thank you for the opportunity. I'm proud to serve.
Job well done.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Eastern Area Schools, Mrs. Stepnick, Lead Board Liaison. Anything to report tonight?
No, not this evening.
Forbes Road, CTC, Mr. Hill, Lead Board Liaison. Anything to report tonight?
Nothing for tonight.
Intergovernmental, Ms. Sweatmore, Lead Board Liaison. Anything to report tonight?
Nothing to report, thank you.
Legislative, Mrs. Stepnick, Lead Board Liaison. Anything to report tonight?
No, not this evening.
Policy, Mr. Kolar is not in attendance tonight. Ms. Sedlak, is there anything?
No.
Thank you. Diversity, Ms. Sweatmore, Lead Board Liaison. Any letter A, recommend approval for name change from diversity to equity and inclusion.
On behalf of the board, I'll make that recommendation.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes. Anything to report tonight?
I just would echo the thanks that has been given to Mr. Colson, Mr. Kolar, and Mr. Tomarello for the time that they served. And I'd also like to recognize Mr. Devine, as this is your last night as board president. And I really want to say thank you for your support of this particular committee. And moving to equity and inclusion really will help move forward the ideals of our district and help us to really highlight what's going on with our Rachel's Challenge. And if it wasn't for your support, I don't know that we would even have this committee, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to open the floor to citizens' comments on non-agenda items.
If you'd like to make comment on non-agenda items, please step forward. Again, we ask that you state your name, your residency within Plum. You will have 5 minutes to speak with a 30-second warning when your time is coming to a close. Is there anybody that would like to make comment at this time?
I don't know if it, hi, it's me again. I don't know if it's I'm sorry, I'll be formal. Justin Javy, 29 for it. I think it's not agenda because it doesn't say a contract in regards to the clinic. So would that be, and you guys didn't mention it nor deliberate, so Dr. Highland said it was zero cost? So is that a $0 contract with Giant Eagle? Is there a contract?
Can I, you're right. So I think it's important to know that our facilities are made available when people would like to rent them from us. Sometimes those rents are at cost, sometimes those rents are free, but it doesn't negate the rental agreement that is signed, which there's stipulations within that. So in order for anybody to enter into that agreement with us, they have to have liability insurance, they have to provide and meet minimal things according to policy.
So what's a like contract that would be zero?
Are you asking if we paid anything or if they paid anything?
Yeah, facilities, electric, the AMTs, the borough, police. Is there any cost to the district? Staffing?
There's no cost to the district.
Any type of health problem that would occur on property, any of that stuff, is it, so it's a $0 rental agreement with Giant Eagle. So Giant Eagle's paying no monies to the district or the borough to lease the facility. So what's an example of a like contract for nothing, like?
There's, well,
Like
I'll use
bingo
one that,
or-
no, I can use one that I'm a part of because
Okay.
I'm on the board for Plum Borough Basketball Organization, right? So if we rent a facility from here and it's not when I'm going to host over a certain number of people, if it's not on a weekend, if it's not meeting all of these other things, then it's at no cost. It used to be at no cost, let me say that. According to the new policy, it would be at a minimal cost, but there are times where we do that and money
Not
doesn't.
under the new policy though, because.
Pardon me?
New facility policy, I think that was discussed in maybe September, that there
Right.
will be costs.
I'm gonna have to step
associated
in. We really can't go into discussion about
That's
this.
fine.
Like, if you want to email the questions, we can answer them, or like I said, if you want to stop after the meeting, or if you want to come in January and have a discussion, we'll be here, but this is not a Q&A time, I apologize.
Okay, no, there's no apology. I actually appreciate the transparency. I think that that's the way things should be going more in the future. So I look forward to more of that, and I appreciate the comments and questions. Or I had the question, you comment.
Mike, can I just make one, this is not to have a discussion. I think it's important to also recognize for us as a board, and I will say this for me, and if you guys are like-minded, what have you, but I think it was important for me, the opportunity for the vaccination clinic. Not that the vaccination clinic is anyone, that anyone is saying that a single individual has to bring a single individual to the vaccination clinic, but it is an opportunity, and it allows us as a board to make a more thoughtful decision for when the governor's order, or not governor's, the Department of Health's order falls off, that then, whether that's December 4th or whether that's the January 11th timeline, we can feel better about the unmasking of students within the building and vaccinated staff within the building. So it was purposeful twofold from my perspective, and one of the reasons that I was okay with it. I am not okay with saying, if your kid has any symptoms, please bring your kid and get a PCR test. I'm not okay with saying we are recommending and telling you highly that you have to get your kids vaccinated. None of those. It's simply an opportunity for a test to be available in a more convenient way if a parent would like to use it or a staff would like to use it, and a vaccination clinic that's available in a more convenient way than it has been and is available. And by the time we hit January 11th, all of our students will have had the opportunity to be fully vaccinated. It does not mean that the reason we're taking off masks or we're doing what we're doing is because they are vaccinated. It's because families have been provided the opportunity to get their children vaccinated. If they would like to, not.
Yeah, there's nothing that any of us have discussed or decided on that makes any of this mandatory.
Right.
This is simply Giant Eagle filled out the request. We said, yes, you can use the school. And it's an accommodation for parents who are working and can't get somewhere else, or it's just another avenue for those who wish to get vaccinated, Personally, I don't know where my wife and I stand yet with our kids, but my advice to people who are against the vaccine, be against the vaccine and just don't come on a Tuesday when we have it.
We agree our end goal is to keep kids in the school setting.
Yes.
That's
Right.
really the
And
end goal of
promote
all of our
that.
decisions. We just want them in school.
Yep.
So that's it.
And PCR testing too. We just want them in school. So if it helps you to get a test done quicker and be able to move that forward, yep, that's all. Okay, sorry, Mike.
No, that's all right.
agree with you. You know, for instance, I got my third shot yesterday, and that's why I'm up there tonight, because I'm feeling kind of not so great. But with that said, you know, I didn't have an opportunity at that pharmacy to get my son a shot, or we might have just done it together. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have it closer to home, to have it be in an environment where he, you know, would be more comfortable and in school. And you know, I welcome that opportunity, and I think a lot of working parents welcome that opportunity. And no one is saying we're shoving vaccines down anybody's throat, or it's simply being put out to a communication to parents, not to students, but to parents, to give them informed decision-making time to decide whether or not they want to vaccinate their children. And removing the masks mid-January and aligning it with the 9-week marking period is also very important, because for those that wanted to give it a month to sort of see how children were reacting, they have that extra month to go get the vaccine if they so choose. But in addition, those who are in flex, it gives them an opportunity to decide if they're going to go on for that third 9 weeks or to come off should they have been vaccinated or feel more comfortable going back to school, either or both. So I'm very comfortable with having this vaccine clinic. And honestly, there wasn't this much dialogue back in, you know, the spring when we had it for the 12-year-olds and older. So I'm really questioning and concerned about why all of a sudden this is such a problem when we're just providing another opportunity to allow those who decide to choose to make that decision as a family what they're going to do. It's the same concept.
Just one point of clarification, the vaccine clinic is going to occur at the high school, and that's the only building that's going to be happening in?
Sir, could we have your name and your address, please?
I'm sorry, Keith Coltura, 4815 Hialeah Drive.
I believe so, yeah. The PCR?
No,
the vaccine.
Vaccine clinic.
And just a general comment, I think, you know, how we all feel about this is that if it goes beyond where it is now, I think there's going to be a lot more people like me that are going to be coming into this meeting, and we just want to be heard about how we feel about that. Thank you.
My name is Christina Haas, and I live at 3420 Leechburg Road. And there are plenty of opportunities for people to get vaccinated on every single corner, at Giant Eagle, at CVS, at whatever pharmacy they plan on going to. I don't think the school district should be involved in medicine, medical propaganda, which I think it is, but that's my own opinion. You want to get vaccinated, that is perfectly fine with me. I don't think it is right to bring it to the high school. Secondly, I would hope that the high school would be cleaned rather well after you're bringing people in, because you don't know where these people are coming from or what they do have that they're bringing into the school. And thirdly, I am concerned about this because this has to do with my son, who is 8. If somebody had a 12-year-old, they wanted to come and say their piece, then they should have came and said their piece. I am here because my son is 8, and it affects my son now. Thank you.
Are there any other comments at this time?
Hi, my name is Rain Plants. I reside at 416 Kathy Lynn Drive. I don't really have comments. I have a lot of questions because of the lack of transparency. And this is kind of looking towards the future, only because I feel like a lot of the rights of the parents and kids have already been taken. And I'm wondering what the future with the vaccine is going to look like. Is it going to be mandatory for our kids? And if so, is there going to be, are we going to be allowed to have exemptions for it? Like such as religion exemptions or medical exemptions? And that's all I have.
Any other comments at this time? Okay, Mr. Devine?
Thank you. Upcoming public meetings, reorganization meeting on Wednesday, December 1st, 2021 at 7 o'clock in the Plum High School Library. Discussion budget workshop meeting on December 7th at 7 o'clock here in the high school library. And we have an action meeting on December 21st, 2021 at 7 o'clock here in the library. All right, this time I would now like to call the meeting adjourned. Do I have a motion and a second?
I'll make that motion, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.